What I'm bringing you today is not just another routine trade deadline recap. We're looking at a move that may have irreversibly shaped the course of our season before the calendar even turns to October. You watched with us over the last few nights as we pulled off that spectacular sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers at Wrigley Field and celebrated that heart-pounding win over the Toronto Blue Jays. The mood around the city is pure hope. The fan base is absolutely fired up, but behind the scenes, our front office may have let the one piece slip away that could have guaranteed a championship ring. Before I break down what I'm already calling the fatal mistake of 2026, I need you to smash that like button right now. The algorithm isn't exactly on our side, and your support is the fuel that keeps Cubs Wrigley Report delivering the independent, hard-hitting, straight-from-the-source coverage you simply won't find in the mainstream media. Hit that button, and let's get into the facts. The situation that has shaken Major League Baseball over the last few hours leaves a seriously bittersweet feeling on the north side of Chicago. The front office, led by Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins, made moves to strengthen the roster and finalized acquisitions of veteran pitchers Kevin Gausman, Clay Holmes, and Braxton Garrett. There's no denying that our rotation needed immediate help after being battered by a wave of injuries throughout the season. However, the biggest and most impactful story of this trade deadline isn't about the players the Cubs brought in. It's about the generational talent the franchise allowed to fall directly into the hands of our biggest obstacle in the National League. The biggest prize on the market, two-time Cy Young Award winner Tarik Scubal, was traded by the Detroit Tigers directly to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The California club put its top assets on the table, assembled the winning prospect package, and got the deal done, filling what may have been the only major weakness on a true super team. To understand the magnitude and potentially catastrophic weight of this news, we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture in the National League Central and across the entire playoff bracket. The Cubs are currently locked in an absolute dogfight with the Milwaukee Brewers for the NL Central crown. Those recent heroic wins, especially that epic 11-inning victory over Toronto, with Alec Bregman tying the game in the ninth and Pete Crow-Armstrong using his elite speed to score the winning run after stealing third and forcing a throwing error, prove without question that Craig Counsell's roster has championship-level resilience. But the playoffs are a completely different animal. By failing to keep the Dodgers from acquiring Scubal, our front office didn't just miss out on an elite pitcher. They allowed the biggest threat to the National League title to become exponentially more dangerous. Los Angeles may go through some ups and downs during the regular season, but with Scubal leading and anchoring that rotation in short October series, the mountain every other team has to climb just became that much steeper. Now I'm going to pull back the curtain and tell you exactly what my best placed sources inside the organization have been telling me over the last 48 hours. The frustration running through the halls of Wrigley is very real, even though it's being kept behind closed doors. I was told that Jed Hoyer's phone was going nonstop and that the Cubs were at the negotiating table for Tarik Scubal right up until the final moments, going head-to-head with the Brewers and Rays. But when the Dodgers flipped the switch into full-on all-in mode, putting together a blue-chip prospect package that our talent evaluators considered untouchable, Chicago slammed on the brakes. One executive with direct knowledge of the decision told me this. The organizational directive was clear. We weren't going to mortgage a decade of farm system development for one arm, no matter how transcendent he was. Internally, the belief was that spreading the risk by bringing in Gausman and Holmes was the smarter baseball move. But after talking off the record with sources close to the dugout, the feeling is that the Cubs simply lacked that killer instinct, hoarding prospect capital while the Dodgers build an increasingly unstoppable roster looks like a serious misread of the market. When we take the emotion out of it and dive straight into the metrics and analytics behind these moves, the strategy becomes much clearer. Let's be honest about Kevin Gausman. He is not at the peak of his performance curve in 2026. He comes in with a 5-10 record and an inflated 4.38 ERA, having allowed 15 home runs and 36 walks over 127.1 innings. The front office, however, is betting heavily on his impressive track record in elimination games. Last year, Gausman posted a stellar 2.93 ERA over 30.2 innings while pitching under the immense pressure of the postseason. Then there's the acquisition of Clay Holmes, which is a fascinating analytical move. He's in the final stages of recovering from a fracture in his right fibula, suffered after being hit by a ball traveling more than 100 miles per hour off Spencer Jones. Before that freak injury, Holmes was shutting down opposing lineups with the Mets, posting a 4.4 record and a microscopic 2.39 ERA across 9 starts. His heavy sinker-based profile, which generates an elite ground ball rate, looks like it was practically designed in a lab to work in front of the elite defense we have across our infield. The immediate consequences for our 26-man roster are significant and completely reshape the tactical board Craig Counsell has at his disposal for the grind of September. With Clay Holmes' return now imminent, already projected to take the ball this Saturday against the Kansas City Royals, our starting rotation immediately gains the stability and composure of a 9-year big league veteran. Kevin Gausman automatically moves toward the top of the rotation hierarchy, pushing some of our younger, inconsistent arms with high walk rates into bullpen roles or back to AAA Iowa. The beauty of this newly acquired depth is that the brutal workload being placed on our key relievers can finally be reduced. The bullpen, which had been getting worn down because of early exits from starting pitchers, will now have the breathing room to be managed situationally, allowing Counsell to optimize matchups in the highest leverage innings. Now we've reached the critical part of the analysis. I'm going to be direct and surgical. The Cubs front office approached this deadline with the mindset of a team trying to secure a playoff spot, not with the ferocity of a team trying to destroy its opponents once it gets there. Do Gausman and Holmes raise our competitive level? Absolutely. These are legitimate additions that significantly raise our floor and provide insurance against injuries. But October baseball isn't about having a safe floor. It's about having an absolute unreachable talent ceiling. The biggest mistake of the Hoyer Hawkins regime was the tactical complacency that allowed Dave Roberts and the Dodgers to complete the Tarik Scubal deal. In an arms race at the top of the sport, you never allow your direct rival to acquire the biggest weapon on the board while you're busy buying shields for protection. If we meet Los Angeles in the NLCS with the season on the line, watching Scubal walk to the mound for the opposing team will be the painful reminder of this front office's lack of aggression. This was a conservative execution at a deadline that was begging for an all-out attack. The immediate future of this franchise requires a rapid adjustment. The absolute priority now is integrating these new pieces into the clubhouse culture and turning that potential into a dominant stretch of wins on the field. The first mission is making sure Holmes' rehab reaches 100%, while Chicago's pitching coaches work to bring Gausman's dominant mechanics back to life. The organization has officially entered win-at-all-cost mode inside the Central Division. The target is on the Brewers' backs, and we need to avoid the wild card roulette at all costs. The club's long-term plan remains protected, with the crown jewels of our minor league system still off limits, but the championship window is open right now. Everything that happens from this point until the final out of the season will serve as the ultimate referendum on the management philosophy of this era. The situation is all laid out on the table, and now the ball is in your court, Cubs fans. You've just gotten a complete tactical breakdown and the inside information on what really drove this trade deadline. I want to hear your baseball IQ when it comes to our roster for this final push toward glory. Picture a chaotic Game 1 of the playoffs in October with the entire roster healthy and available. Who gets the ball? Do you trust Kevin Gausman's proven postseason track record, or do you roll with Clay Holmes and his ground ball-inducing precision? Drop down into the comments right now and give me your ideal rotation for the first round. I'll be down there reading and debating the most technical takes with you. And don't forget to subscribe to Cubs Wrigley Report and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of our exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage. We're staying locked in. I'll see you in the next video, right here from our home in Chicago.